For the first time in more than 5.5 years, we finally tonight have a few new answers to a question that has loomed over Indiana and over the town of Delphi. Who killed Abby Williams and Libby Gervais?
From the end of the bridge to, you got to go through. Now, I believe that the bodies were found about 50.
Born from a family's grief and determination. In April of 2020, Army soldier Vanessa Guillen went missing while stationed at one of the largest military installations.
That little music in the background, it goes, "Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious."
Right.
Knew about it or was there. He's as guilty as the person who committed it.
Chilling details in the arrest of a suspected serial killer caught before he could strike again.
They dropped the ball, man. Like they said, he went AWOL, and that he was a deserter, and nobody went to look for him.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder.
Like I said, we're going back. We were asked last time to kind of talk about the food, the grub truck video, and kind of give our perspective of it. The press release from the police department, it indicated that they're still trying to put pieces together from that night. Does that worry you at any point or at any bit that they're still trying to put those pieces together?
It's been over 5 weeks since little Kaylee Anthony vanished. Her mother, Casey, has been arrested for lying to police. She's being held without bail.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000. It still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to The Drunken Turkey Show, your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Drunk Turkey Show. Here we are. I'm in Big Blue, myself, Daniel J, coming back at you with another podcast. Boys, Hyman, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Just got out of the shower, so I'm nice and fresh and clean.
Oh, dude, I was in the shower too.
Hey, great minds think alike. I just got out of the shower too.
not all together, but
Yeah,
we live in different places, guys.
yeah.
Maybe virtually.
Don't get any ideas, guys.
Right? We can.
We had a little bit of a barbecue before, a little bit earlier, so I had to get the smoke off me, dude. I can't stand it. You know, I like the smell of a barbecue. I like the smell of the cookout. But man, on your clothes after a while, I gotta take a shower, man. Gotta be fresh. You working tonight? Anybody drinking tonight?
I work tonight, so I can't drink.
Well, I guess I'll be drinking water.
Yeah, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, nice, man, nice. We have the OPI, the opinionated idiot, in the house. How's it going? We're actually going to be doing a show on Friday, y'all. It's going to be Friday night, 7:30. It's going to be us, the opinionated idiot. Brian is going to be on there, and Publicly Buzzed as well. And so we're looking forward for that. It'll be awesome. So if you're not subscribed already, I would subscribe. Just bring that notification. So we dropped a couple videos over the last week or so, and one was our prosecution theory. Let that theory set for a while and let you guys watch that, and then we threw out the defense theory. We'll start off with you, Jaime. Which one of those two videos did you find was more or was stronger?
I'm gonna go with the prosecution video, man. A lot of valid points. Not discarding the defense video. There's some points there, some holes there. You got to be filled in. You know what I mean?
Right. Gold natty light. Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Big Blue? When you look at both of the theories that we put together, which one did you find to be the stronger one?
I've been saying it, the prosecution, man. I want to say that.
Really?
Yeah, they got the defense has a little bit, but man, it's going to be hard for them to disclaim some of the stuff that they're accusing them of. And we don't know all the information. I need to get the rest of the information.
Right. But
Uh,
so I guess I'm gonna be the lone wolf here. Which is fine. One of us had to have been, more than likely. I thought that when I put everything together, I thought that there was a lot of holes in the prosecution case theory that we put together, and we'll go through everything, y'all. Not everything, but we'll summarize everything. Um, to me, I think he's guilty. I honestly do. I think they got the right guy. I think with the information that we have right now, I think there's a lot of holes there that could bring up reasonable doubt. I don't think that there's somebody else that's done this. When you look at the case at whole, right? You have Bryan Kohberger was in his vehicle, which matched the description of the vehicle that was out that night. You have the no front license plate. You have during the time of the commission of the crime, his phone was off. And then you have where, the odd travel that he made, right? You put all that together plus the DNA on the sheath, kind of makes you think that it's pretty slam dunk, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I went with the prosecution side because I'm pretty sure, I'm more than certain that they have a lot more stuff that they're not telling us. That's the only reason. But if you're just what we have right now on paper, on documents, you're right. It does have a lot of holes. Prosecution is gonna, the defense is gonna make a circus out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but my choice for the prosecution was because I was like kind of thinking, I'm pretty sure they have a lot more that they're not telling us.
Right. And when we went into the series, I said out there, I was like, we're only going based off the information we know. We're not going to disprove or not take in effect, like for instance, the results of the vehicle, right? We don't. Yeah. So I'm not going to take that evidence towards or against Kohberger. To me, that's the deciding point for me. Like straight up, like Paulo Abdul, straight up, honest. It's it is. It's either there's DNA there, that's it. He's done. If there's not DNA, I don't know about that, man. I don't know if they got the right guy.
See, and that's why I'm going with the prosecution, man, because of DNA. Like, how many cases have been turned around because of that type of DNA? A lot. A lot of people have been sent home because they've claimed innocent the whole time they've been in jail. Some people have been in there for a few years, some of them for decades, and then they get this DNA tested, and it comes out to be somebody else. And then in a few of those cases, the person they actually arrest, confirms that, yeah, I did it. Y'all finally caught me 30 years later, 20 years later, while somebody else sat in jail for me.
Right, but that DNA that's usually found isn't touch DNA. That's DNA that's like blood, semen. That's DNA that they've had. They just didn't have the technology to test it. This is touch DNA, one of the most unreliable DNA sources out there. There's been many cases out there where touch DNA is being thrown out. And the reason why I suspect it to be in touch DNA and being a small sample is one, airmail article, right? We go back to Howard Bloom, journalist, article writer. He says that the only piece of evidence they had was a speck of DNA. And we talked about this when we read the article. We're like, man, he describes it as just a speck of DNA. How much DNA could that possibly be? But real quick, thank you, Alejandra, for your $4.99 super sticker. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
So it was a speck of DNA. Now he comes out, same guy, right? Comes out on a podcast with Megan Kelly, I believe. And he says that initially, that DNA that was on that sheath was they didn't find it at the Moscow lab. They go, they test it. There's nothing there. They end up taking that sample and sending it off to a place that looks for cold case DNA stuff. So probably things that are degraded or small. And so we're to believe and trust that, all right, it went from one place where they said there's nothing on it and went to another place that said that there's something on it. As if I was on the defense side, I would argue and say the prosecution doesn't even have a solid, there's there's conflicting arguments within their own argument. You have the Moscow lab saying there was nothing, and then you have the Texas lab saying that something was there.
Yeah.
All right. And so I think there's a good chance that that's going to get thrown out.
Yeah, it does sound like it's touch DNA. If the sample's not strong enough and it's being sent to another lab to get it a lot more concentrate sample, then that means it's probably touch DNA.
Yeah, I agree there.
And so, that's not going to hold up if that's the case.
No, it's not. It's not even. I don't think it's going to make it to court. I think there's a lot of this stuff that might not make it to court. If his lawyer is as good as it's claimed, right? Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's not going to make it to court, and I'm a little bit concerned about it. You look at, all right, how did they get the phone pings, right? How did they get the warrant for the cell phone, right? Now, all they had at that time, based on the probable cause affidavit, and I know a lot of people say, oh, they must have this and that or more evidence. I don't necessarily believe that's the case, because everything kind of lines up in chronological order and timeline. Once you look at when you go to, I'll present it real quick. I've gone through all these, and these are all the orders. Everything that they have unsealed, I've went in there, I've checked, I've seen at what time they were, when the warrant was issued, what they were looking for, things like that. And thank you so much to the opinionated idiot with the $2 super chat. It says, let's get to 100 likes, smash that like button. Yeah, come on, guys. It doesn't hurt to hit that like button.
It's free.
So I went through all this, right? Everything matches up. I don't see anything there that says, like, for instance, they were looking into Bryan Kohberger prior to, a certain date, right? Mm-hmm. Some people were thinking that maybe they were onto him within a week. There's nothing in there that says that. Everything that comes out about Kohberger is after November 29th, once they found out that he was driving a white Elantra, correct?
Yeah.
And so everything matches up time-wise, and not to mention the probable cause affidavit is a court document. The police can lie to me, you, the reporters, everybody, but once it goes to court, they can't purge themselves. And so they have to be as accurate as they possibly can in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so for me, and like we've put it out there, like, what is it that that they have on him? They got that warrant.
Yeah, exactly. Did they have probable cause to get the warrant for the phone records? They can throw that out, right?
Yeah, if they throw out that, right, then the only thing, see, this is going to be tough, man, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just say the only thing they had, right, at that moment, which, all right, so let's rewind. What do they have? They had him driving a white car, his height and weight, and his eyebrows. Yeah. Right? They had an investigation in his background at WSU. They checked his Reddit. They specifically pointed out the Reddit in the search warrant. In fact, I'll pull it up real quick. This is the search warrant for Pennsylvania when they went to go arrest him. And within there it says here, based on information provided by WSU website, Kohberger is a PhD and student in criminology at WSU. Pursuant records provided by a member of the interview panel for the Pullman Police Department, we learned Kohberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also show Kohberger wrote an essay to apply for an internship at Pullman Police Department in the fall 2022. In that essay, he had an interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies in how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Kohberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found in an open source internet search. That survey asked the participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychology traits influence decision-making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine the cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to King Road residents on November 13th between 3 and 5 a.m. And so we know that warrant was on December 23rd.
Yeah.
What did they get to do that? You know what I'm saying? We don't know what that evidence is. It appears that it's from something there, and I've said it before. In my opinion, that it has to be some kind of detail that ties back to the investigation. Whether, let's just say he talked to Blue, right? Let's just say Blue was one of the survey guys, and he tells Blue committed a violent crime, right? Because in order for Blue to be taking part in this survey, he would have had to have committed a crime, right? Blue tells him, I went in there, I committed this crime doing this. And then Bryan tells Blue, if I were you, I would have done this and you wouldn't have gotten caught. And whatever that detail is, was done during this investigation or during this crime. Right? Whatever it is. Maybe it'd be, oh man, I would have wiped down the doorknob with, XYZ chemical. They go check the doorknob. It has XYZ chemical exactly. That's a detail. That's enough to maybe perhaps once you put in, all right, he has the car, height, weight, things of that, relatively in the same area. That might be enough to point at a warrant. But just the height, weight, and him driving a white car that they said that there was 20,000 of them in the area.
It's not enough.
I don't think so.
I think there's a couple clues in the paperwork, there's talk about, kind of like a witness, right? Or not a witness,
a co-defendant and an informant.
Informant, that's what I mean, informant. So maybe the informant came forward and said something, and then that was good enough to get the warrant.
Well, I think that the informant, but I think that informant had to have come forward from this Reddit post because of the way this warrant is written, as saying, because it talks about that Reddit post, and in parentheses, it highlights, understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. So, in my opinion, what that means is he was asking how people felt, what they were feeling, and what they were thinking while they were, hurting somebody. And so, and also the decisions between there. Something in that survey pointed to a detail in this crime. Because he is because his schooling would explain why he's asking for this type of information.
So, and I think one of the things the prosecution is also going to go after, I'm pretty sure they're going to have to get him on the stand. And they're going to talk about, was this also caused by, his anger of him losing his position at the school, like the getting in trouble and all that. That all happened within the same time period.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And I'll look it up, but the timeline said that I think it was in September he got into a disagreement with his professor. And then it was November 2nd. No, in October they met up a plan. They met up to talk about the disagreement in September. November 2nd, I believe it was when they came up with a plan. And then in December 7th, I think it was when they talked about it, right? And what they were saying in that December 7th was that he had done better. Clear, it says you've done better, but he's still whatever he was doing wasn't up to their standard, but that he was improving. Now, what do we know? And you know what? I think it was actually November 12th when he was given that plan. What does everybody say, right? Everybody's saying that before and after the incident, he was changing the way he was grading. Could it be because he committed that crime, or could it be because he was failing a lot of people and the school had a conversation about it? I already suspect that this school is in for all the money that they can get, and I don't think they would be too keen on people failing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Will?
I don't know, man. I was reading this real quick.
Bryan has been pulling out his eyebrows in jail ever since he heard about it. Yeah, that's hopefully.
That would be an admission of guilt.
Probably. I think so. People could see that as that. I'm gonna look at this letter real quick while you guys are. But yeah, so what do you think? Do you think that the behavior change at the school, was that because of the murders, or was that because he was told to change his grading habits?
I think it was because he was told to change his grading habits, and then something was already like spouting. I'm pretty sure he was already having issues with something else. And maybe he was one of the ones that dated Madison. No, wait, yeah, Madison, right?
Well, Kaylee went on a date with somebody.
Kaylee. When they called her the B word, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He called her blue. But yeah, so doesn't the prosecutor have to turn all evidence? Yes and no. So Brady Act is so the defense, they have a right to all of the evidence that they have against them. Now, if there's evidence that proves that this person is innocent and they don't hand that over, that's violation of Brady. But from my understanding and from what I kind of looked into when it comes to Idaho, is you have to ask for all the stuff. So they don't necessarily have to give you all the evidence they have unless you ask for the evidence, which is why it was suspected that they had talks about a co-defendant and informants, was because if they didn't ask for one and they had them, they didn't have to provide that information. But it's two different things. But yeah, Brady Act is when there's information that proves or evidence that proves that somebody's innocent, and then the prosecution or the police department cover it up. But good question.
It's just somebody put on it's going to come out in Discovery. Yeah, they will.
Yeah, Discovery is when everything comes out.
They put another $5.
Dang, man, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Since being arrested, go ahead, Blue, read it.
Since being arrested, why has no one publicly come out? Bryan Kohberger's defense. Don't you find that odd?
We'll start off with you, Jaime. What are your thoughts on the question?
Oh man, it's like I don't think people want the they don't want the the reporters and whatnot, the media being after them, I guess. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because the media does they go to extreme lengths to get their story.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes they do invade some of the privacy. So maybe they don't want that kind of heat on them. You know what I mean?
I think we read a couple of shows ago, the family came out a little bit in his, not defense, but just to say, hey, we're standing by him, and we're gonna see what they find out. So.
Right, but the question is, do you not find it odd that nobody, like, for instance, if one of your children was accused of something like this, right, and you truly believe that they didn't do it, wouldn't you be saying, nah, my kid is innocent, not we're going to trust in the judicial system, this and a third?
Or, I mean, yeah, you can. I mean, parents do that.
Uh-huh.
But, like, there's a lot of people that don't care sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know I don't know the parents, Bryan's parents or whatnot, but if maybe they want to see what everything leads up to, you know what I mean? Maybe if he's wrongly accused, they can come up with some cash. I think that's what they're hoping for.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is maybe perhaps their profession. I know one of them is like a therapist, and I think his parents are like teachers. I think his parents are a little bit, from the sound of it, are very distraught about the entire situation.
Mm-hmm.
All indications, like from what I've heard and seen from reports and things, I think the mother hasn't come out at all. I think they just had that one statement, probably prepared by an attorney.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or looked over by an attorney. And so I get that point, but at the same time, like, it's a shock to them too. I'm sure they're probably in shock as well. They probably didn't expect this.
Yeah, man. It's
I don't
because
think
like
anybody could.
it's gonna be hard because in a small town where they're from, probably, and then they start like growing up. Oh, he's innocent, he's innocent, he's innocent. And then he comes out to be guilty. It's not gonna be a good look when you're walking in the grocery store every time you go.
Yeah.
You know, so I think they're keeping their heads down until they find out the truth. Because it's going to be a tough. They're going to have a tough life for a good while until people forget. Some people won't ever forget, but like the average Joe will forget.
Yeah.
I think I'm wearing the worst. I think I'm wearing a horrible shirt for this. I might have to go change.
You already brought it to everybody's attention.
Did I?
Yeah, I had no idea. So this thing here. So here's the news week on the Kohberger getting fired. So this says letter reportedly detailed the timeline of the events leading up to Kohberger's termination, beginning with an alleged altercation with a professor on September 23rd, just weeks onto the job. And we actually did a video about. Thank you so much, Casey, for becoming a member.
Thank you.
We did a video on that professor and who he is and his background as well. Go check that out. Just check out the playlist and look under Idaho 4, and you'll see all the stuff that we've covered. It's quite extensive. Let's see. Let's go back here. Banfield said in the letter stated that Kohberger and a professor then met on October 3rd to discuss professional behavior. The professor reportedly emailed Kohberger on October 21st to tell him he had failed to meet the expectations set out earlier that month. They met again on November 12th to discuss the improvement plan. Another meeting was held on December 7th to discuss how that plan was going. So the day before this incident goes, they talk about an improvement plan, right? And that improvement plan probably was, hey, we need to pass people here. This is, these folks are paying for an education. Maybe not supposed to be that way, but if you fail a lot of people or a lot of students start failing, less students are going to want to come here. That's less money for the university. And I put it out there many times, including this morning. I hope you, was it this morning that we put that video out? Yeah, it was. Yeah, this morning we put out a video referencing DoorDash and the university demolishing the house.
The house.
In my opinion, it's all because of money.
Mm-hmm.
I there's a lot of examples on how this place here, the university is doing some
hush stuff, man.
Yeah, for money. Leading even up to the point where there was a professor, and we talked about it on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
Professor took the life of one of the students that he was having an improper relationship with.
Yeah.
That prior to that incident happening, that victim and her friends went and spoke to the University of Idaho. This was in 2011. And the University of Idaho stated that they couldn't do anything due to confidentiality. And what they had told them was that he was going to do something similar to what he did to her, to multiple students. And they wouldn't do anything about it until they, we suggest you go to the police if you're concerned.
Yeah.
I mean,
but here's the thing: the university has a police department. They always do.
Yeah, and so exactly, Michael. Mitch Gale says 29 says, "Yep, house on campus looks really, really bad." And so,
yep,
all of that is for money. Yeah, all of it is for money. And this guy goes, they met on November 12th to discuss the improvement plan, and then again on December 7th to discuss how that plan was going. From all indications, it said that it was going better, but he wasn't like, it wasn't what they expected, right? He did some better things, but not to their expectation. Yeah. Probably went from failing everybody to giving everybody 100s, and they probably got pissed off about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so on the 9th, Kohberger reportedly had a second altercation with the professor, which led to his official termination 10 days later. So do you think that, I think his defense team is going to come in and say, when all these people come up and start saying how his behavior changed after the incident, his defense team is going to point at this as
Yeah,
to why.
yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, um, the example you gave earlier about the teacher and the student, right?
Yeah.
That's just one example. I think we went through just four of them, but there was plenty of more that we could have gone through.
Yeah. It's if you guys want to see which video that is, it's under the playlist Idaho 4, and that one's titled Let's Talk About Kim. And that was our WSU Kim mom, who's a fan of the show and calls in every now and then.
See, I think I have a theory about the house, why they want to tear it down.
What's your theory, bro?
It could be a money thing, but I think it's more like a, all the kids probably still talking about it. It's on their mind. So maybe they tear down the memorial, be a positive thing they're talking about. Hey, there's a remembrance there. But I think they should wait till the court hearing happens. That way, like I've seen like in the Murdoch case when they took the jury out there, walked the farm, and gave them an idea. They probably should do that there too, so they can say, where the eyewitness saw Dylan when Dylan saw him coming down the stairs, how far he was, and all that stuff. Unless they're gonna have it like mapped out in the courtroom or staged somewhere, so they can see how that happened. That's I think a better way to prove that. But I see it both ways. I see that some kids probably are scared of that house and don't want to go near it, so they want to like tear it down and make something good of it. And some of these cases get dragged out. That's the other thing I was gonna say. I was just watching a report that they were sentencing a guy here in San Antonio for a murder he did in 2017. He's been sitting in jail that long.
Yeah, but a high-profile case like this, I mean, it might drag a little bit. I mean, you're right; it's going to drag. They haven't even done he hasn't even pled yet.
Yeah,
and so it's definitely going to drag.
I don't think they should tear it down at all, man. I mean, at least not right now.
I know it's going to be an eyesore, and it's just the location of where it's at.
Yeah,
it's on Greek Row. The houses around it are party houses known for college students having a good time. Just Me says, did you hear the conversation with a childhood friend? Knew him through high school, said parents were great. I don't remember that conversation, but I've seen a lot of them. I think I actually know which one you're talking about, but we also had another one of Bryan Kohberger's friends on the show, prior friend, not while he was in high school, prior to him getting on hard drugs. Bree, she joined the show. That's also in our playlist.
I don't. If they tear it down before the trial and they just show pictures or like digital format,
right.
I don't think it'll feel the same as actually physically being inside that house.
Right.
It could be a different. It'll be a better perspective. You know what I mean, for the jurors.
Right. No, yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna play this in the background. This is I thought I saw earlier somebody asked about the drone footage outside of the house. We got that too. And so, yeah, we've looked at everything in this case. We actually have a video that's going to be dropping tomorrow titled Bryan Kohberger was not prime suspect number one. We put together something. I think you guys will like it. So make sure you guys like and subscribe and tune in for that one in the morning.
Yeah, and then we did we tried to break this case right when it happened. So we had jumped on, Instagram had photos and stuff like that. Everything's blocked now. Everything's closed off.
Oh, but I saved all of it. So I got that, the grub truck video, the everything that you can't find. I have it all saved still. Yeah. But yeah, this is I believe this was that evening or the next day after the incident. It's crazy, dude. Look at all that. Look at all the footprints you can see from right here on the ground below.
Mm-hmm.
And look at where they're parked. Like, that's the other thing about this case that irritates me. It was the scene preservation was just so horrible.
The lack of, yeah.
You know, on not just like the fact that you had the 911 call and you had a bunch of students and kids go in there.
Yeah.
Then you had the police department not following protocol as well. Probably not knowing protocol. They probably don't understand this.
Yeah,
But-
I think there was a picture, right? I think, or a video that we showed that the policeman was inside the kitchen.
Yeah,
No,
no
no
booties.
gloves or nothing.
Yeah, it's just they're chilling. And then they put the dang stools, part of the evidence. They used it to secure the back door. We'll show you guys. But here's the thing. Here's another thing I want to ask you guys. So let's look at the cars parked up front. Kaylee's car is parked right next to the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was gone for a week and a half, and there are no pictures of this vehicle on her Instagram or her Facebook or whatnot, because she was going to show it off to her friend that weekend, right? So even if Bryan Kohberger was stalking him for a couple of weeks at a time, Blue, don't you find it weird that this wouldn't have been a new vehicle to him?
Yeah, he wouldn't have known it.
Right. Do you think that's what made him hesitate?
Maybe when he drove around the first time, probably. Like
I drove around 3 times.
Yeah, maybe one of the girls has a male guest, but then see, I don't know how long he had been studying the house to know if they all would be in the same room together or what. Like, that's kind of weird to me. Like how he still went for it, even though there's 2 people in one room, and one can scream and one can fight back, but right. And then wake up everybody else, and then you'd be trapped, if they came towards you, and all you had was just one knife, which is a big knife, but still.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. Sometimes going back and looking at these things help just kind of maybe pick out something once you realize more of the information, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, man. My guess is that over here on this side, right there is where that camera is that picked up the audio. I'm looking at I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but it's you have to the right side of the screen a building, and at the top of it there's a small roof. I'm assuming that's where it's at. That's about 50 feet away from where Xana and Ethan's room was.
I mean, the neighbor had a camera there, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the camera that heard the noise. I know there's some audio that's being out there, and there's been audio. I think it was on TikTok. It's old audio. It's not real, guys. Don't fall for that.
Yeah,
You know what? It may not even be this one. It might be right here.
I was gonna say maybe
Be.
he had cameras because of all the partying. You know what I mean? And sometimes, when people party, they had to urinate and crossing people's yards, and he probably had.
No, what happened was at this house over here. Not this house, but the next door neighbor's house. Somebody broke into one of their cars and threw all their clothes down the street, and so they got the ring right after that incident. I think it was Plunder. I think that's how you pronounce her channel. She brought out that body cam footage of the police call. So you see right here, you have the stools in there that are blocking that door. Back there you see stools too, and those stools are very close to the entrance and the exit. If the police put those stools there, that's really piss poor work. You're using evidence to secure the scene.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to do that. That's a big no.
Because supposedly he walked out the back door. So to me, that's the back door.
Hey, so if he walked out the back door, right? Are you guys like? I know they said there's no blood trail out there walking out. There really isn't.
No. They would have taped it off.
It's crazy, man. That ladder still.
That's the ladder we had the theory that he climbed in through the window.
Yeah. That looks like that could be stained footprints.
Yeah, like a boot print, maybe.
Yeah. And there's the red substance, possibly blood coming down.
What if, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if this is like, you ever seen My Cousin Vinny?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where like two guys get charged with murder because they were at the same store when they got robbed, and the owners got unalived. Remember that? And there was like some guys that almost had the same car, almost the same color. Remember that? What about if that's like that? Like here, like maybe it was just driving around, picking up some drugs or something, and somebody else with a similar car, similar build. You know what I mean? The culprit.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. That would be nuts, but we did bring up the possibility of that, right? When we looked at the what police say that he was at his house at 2:42, and that there's a video of him 1.6 miles away at 2:44, across town. And so, one could speculate that there was at least two vehicles like that. We have a $5 super chat from Seeking Facts. Does anyone think that the day Kaylee went on could be BK? Maybe this is how they were onto him so early. We brought that up.
Yeah.
We actually brought up the interview and where Steve Goncalves says that she went on a date with somebody and that person disrespected her and that she left, and her mom said that she left and called Jack. We talked about that actually in our defense theory as to why that would upset a recent ex-boyfriend, finding out that the last person or the person that you just dated for 6 years a week later is on a date with someone else, regardless of how that date ended up. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was a good date or a bad date, I think that would infuriate someone. What do you guys think?
I don't think it was him that he went on a date with. But
yeah, it's possible it wasn't.
First of all, but if I had a girl or ex-girlfriend that a week later started going out with someone, I will be kind of I don't know if I would be angry, but I'll be kind of like saddened, I guess you could say. But different people react to different situations differently, right?
Right. Yeah, and but the defense is going to throw that out. The defense is going to come after, like I said in the theory, the defense is going to come after Jack Decor.
Yeah,
and they're going to point in that direction.
And plus, once they get the evidence from the phones, they'll be able to find out who she went on a date with, and because I'm pretty sure they communicated to meet up.
Thank you, Sue, for your $1.99 super chat. But let's talk about Jack and what the defense is that they're going to say. Right? They're going to look at him and say, well, if I was a defense attorney, I'm not. But if I was a defense attorney and you guys were the jury, I would ask you, when you think about most homicides that occur, you also that occur with no forced entry, and you have 4 people that have passed. That usually sounds like a lot of anger.
Mm-hmm.
Does that anger usually come from somebody who was turned down? Or does that anger come from, somebody who is broken up? that was in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
And then finds out that the person that they were with is already dating somebody else. What is the more likely chance of that degree of anger coming out in?
It's when it's something like this happens, they're always going to look at the spouse or the partner.
Yeah.
Right.
That'll be the first one. That's probably going to be the first. I'm not saying that he did it, but I'm just saying that's going to be the first person to look at to see if they have the motive and
Yeah.
an opportunity.
Which he did. He was with her the night of the incident. He knew she was in town. She was not there for a week and a half. They break up. She stays in Moscow for a week and a half. Within that week and a half, she goes on a date with somebody else. Right after that, she goes back to Coeur d'Alene to her parents' house for a week and a half. That Friday, she goes back to Moscow to go show her friend her vehicle. That Saturday, they go to the corner club and hang out with Jack. He's there. You know who's not there? Kohberger. You know how we know? The corner club tweeted out that he wasn't there.
Stop calling.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, who was there? All right, there was Jack Decor was there. All right, Jack leaves, and this isn't the defense theory. He leaves because he's tired. He worked all day. Kaylee and Maddie try to talk him into going to another bar.
Mm-hmm.
He says, no, I'm tired, and leaves. However, when they leave the bar at whatever time or however later it is after that effect, and they start walking down towards the grub truck, they get Kaylee gets a text message from what Adam told whoever, right? Remember you told Adam everything?
Yeah.
Now, according to the Goncalves family, they said they investigated that, and what that was Kaylee getting back with Jack. So we can assume that the person that she's talking to on that other line is Jack. Now, Jack is talking to her, texting her throughout the entire time at the grub truck video.
Yeah.
When does he go quiet? At 2:30 in the morning. When does he come back on the phone? Because the next morning, when news gets out that this incident occurred, remember, the call didn't come until noon, right? And so once it's on the internet, it's on the news, the Goncalves get mistaken information. Information initially comes in that there was like a shooting. It wasn't a shooting, obviously. But they start calling people. First person that they call is Jack. Mm-hmm. He doesn't answer. They say they turn on the TV and it's on the news. That means it had to have been after 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we've talked about this. How long does it take for the news coverage to get out there? Now, do you think there's an NBC or a CBS or a Fox News station in Moscow, Idaho? Probably not. They're probably going to have to come in from either Boise or maybe even from like Lewiston or somewhere nearby, about half an hour to 45 minutes away. And so let's just say it's at 40 minutes away. This is November, mountains up north. You're probably not driving very, very fast. So that's probably about an hour and a half away, right? So when is this news station breaking that there was an unconscious person there? 1 o'clock, maybe at the earliest?
Maybe.
So we're supposed to believe that Decor was asleep at 2:30, slept through the phone calls, slept through the incident, slept through all the phone calls the next morning when Kaylee's parents are trying to get in touch with him too. So it's not just Bryan Kohberger's phone who's suspicious that night.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And they're going to point at that, regardless if he's done it or not. You know, we're not saying he did. What we're saying is
they're going to use that.
Defense is definitely going to use that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to use all that. They're going to use the fact that the text messages. Supposedly, Kaylee broke up with Jack. However, according to Steve, he's saying the last messages are, I'm gonna leave with the dog tonight if you don't come over. That doesn't sound like Kaylee's the one that was doing the breaking up.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff that don't make sense there. Haters gonna hate with a $5 super chat. Did this happen when the same weekend Dylan asked KG to put her +1 at party. Was it KG or MM? I'll be honest with you, hater gonna hate. I have no idea what you're talking about. You guys familiar with what he's saying?
No, I don't know anything about that party.
I'm not sure. I think we had a few super chats that came through.
Yeah, there's Leticia had a $10 super chat.
Thank you so much.
And then Creed 64 had a question.
Hi man, what does your shirt say? $4.99.
Sorry, I was eating that piece of beef jerky. Fucking hungry. Which is no lives matter.
Yeah.
I was going to change it, but I was like, God damn it, too late.
Too late.
The pool party is what they're talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the pool party, there was a pool party in the Moscow area, and that Cartwright guy who came out on some interview said that he met Bryan Kohberger at this pool party, and that he was weirded out because Bryan Kohberger recognized him weeks later on a hike, and that it was real weird that he recognized them. I thought that was kind of weird. Like, that was just, honestly, it was getting to the point where they're just bringing up anybody that knew him just to bring up something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
mean, a lot of news reporters do that. I mean,
no, I agree. And so, well, back to what we were saying, right? Now, when it comes to the defense, right? The defense doesn't, Jaime, I think you're frozen, by the way. The defense doesn't, oh, there you are. The defense doesn't have to, what the hell happened to his hat? The defense doesn't have to prove somebody else is guilty, right? So they don't have to prove that Jack Decor is guilty. They just have to bring up a question and or a concern or a reasonable doubt. I'm sorry. They just got to bring up reasonable doubt in one juror's mind. And I don't know, man. And I think demolishing this building is way premature. Way premature. You guys are on the super mute, by the way. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I think it is a little premature, man. I thought they should at least wait to the case, but like I said, sometimes they get dragged out for months or years, so we'll see.
No, I agree, but let's at least wait till the guy pleads. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's see what happens there.
It's one thing hearing the floor, like, you know how they can explain it, how the first, second, and third story is, but it's another thing walking through that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes, I mean, even if you go to someone's house, you can feel this vibe, like this energy that just stays there. Mm-hmm. Maybe that will open up, you know, some kind of different perspectives on all the jurors.
Yeah, that's what I think too. What do you guys think of the thing I read earlier or heard on the radio earlier? Also, they're talking about how Idaho, I guess, put it in to try to bring back the firing squad.
They did.
Yeah, I know.
They proved it.
If he gets guilty and gets sentenced, what do you think of a firing squad between getting the injection?
Man. Like, what would I choose?
No, what do you think is more humane?
Oh, more humane? Probably the injection. What do you think?
I really don't want to answer this because I'm not going to rant. But I'll tell you one thing. I always thought eye for an eye, man. You know what I mean? I always thought eye for an eye. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It, no matter what he gets, it's not gonna. If he's guilty, right? If he's guilty, and whatever punishment he gets, which is either a firing squad or lethal injection, it's not gonna be enough because of what he did.
That's true. Now, let's just say he gets off. Do you think he'll ever live the same? He'll have a normal life, I mean?
I don't think so. Look at Casey Anthony. She got off and she can barely work.
That's well, to be honest, she was looking for the attention too. So,
but Casey Anthony also lives and works with the private investigator that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I don't know if Kohberger is going to move in with Ann Taylor.
Yeah, yeah. No matter what, after this, even if he's acquitted or whatever, if he's not the guy, it's not gonna be the same. And there's always gonna be that doubt in the back of everybody's mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. CC says, I think Jack was just showing her that he was not going to come running back after a breakup. I mean, that's possible. I don't know how many times they've broken up. If this was a ongoing thing, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, she was constantly breaking up with him and, you know, getting back, then yeah, that's quite possible. If it was a first time thing, I don't know. If this was their first breakup, maybe not. I don't know. But it's quite possible. I don't think so, sir. Let's trade Kenny Pickett for
wrong life.
Wrong life. I'm in the wrong one. But let's see. Tear down the house equals grounds for mistrial. I don't think it necessarily does, but what it does do is it takes away from that impact. You know what I mean? That you want the jury to see that. You want them to see, you know, to have like, this is how it went down. This is what you saw. This is the way it went down. You know what I'm saying? This Friday, again, we're going to have Publicly Buzzed and the Opinionated Idiot on the show. We're also going to have our members only members chat afterwards. And we're also going to have a giveaway. Whoa, Hyman just bounced out. He's going to, he's going to go get the giveaway tool. So yeah, we'll get him back here in a second. He wants to go get it. We're going to be doing a giveaway here on Friday. We've given away a beanie. We've given away a hat. We have a couple of more things. Also, while Hyman has stepped out, we have merch, y'all. If you guys, hold on, there it goes. So you have to go to the easiest way to find it is going to one of our videos or going to I think it's on our YouTube store. But these are some shirts and sweatshirts that are available.
Yeah, that's the one I got.
Yeah. I got this one too, but in black.
I got the last one from the right.
I got the bottom one, but I got it in blue.
This one right here, the slim fit tee for women's.
Yes.
Blue is the type of guy that will buy himself those dissolvable swimming trunks. And so,
for himself?
For himself. It's a gag on everybody else for him. All right, Jaime.
This is how I get away with it.
That is how I get away. He's like, oh, shucks, you guys got me again. We're like, nobody got you those, Blue. Yeah, no, the beanie's not in there yet, Trina. The beanie, we have to get those out. If you're interested in a beanie, email us at drunkturkeyshow@gmail.com, and we can get you a beanie. We have a few of those left, but they're not on there. And we also have some hats too that they're not going to be available on this website just because they don't on this website that are making our merch here doesn't do the beanies in the way that we want it done, nor has the hats that we like, the style of hats. They have the trucker hats and things like that, but they don't have the style that we like. So we're doing that on the side from this. Let me see. So we're gonna have a giveaway on Friday. Do you have what we're giving away?
Yes, I do. Oh, you probably won't be able to see it, but here, let me show you. Let me see it. Yeah,
it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. But since you put it up,
let me get to the settings real quick. Right?
You got to change the settings. You got to change the
settings.
Yes, sir. A little bit of you're showing everybody your secret. They're not really in the woods.
I think they know.
I think they know you're not in the woods. There it is. All right, what is it, Jaime?
It's a tumbler, man. It's a drunk turkey tumbler.
We have a Drunk Turkey Show tumbler that we'll be giving away this Friday.
30 ounce, baby.
30 ounce. This is for the members only. And if you're religious, you can fill that up with wax and it'll turn into a candle.
Yeah. I'll put some stickers in here.
Yeah, we have some. Do you have the stickers on you by any chance?
I don't, man. Actually, I don't. I have them in the car. but I can get them. I'll put it up on the post later.
All right, sounds good. We'll post them up later so you guys can see that. So Friday, the way it works, is Friday we have our show about 45 minutes to 50 minutes into the show. We switch to members only as far as the live chat. Now, to enter into this contest, you're going to have to enter a code word into the live chat. You'll have to be present Friday night for the live, right? And so you'll have to be present. You'll have to be a member because only members will be allowed to enter in the code word, right? And so you enter in the code word. You end up, if we use our StreamYard random tool selector, it'll choose somebody at random. They will have to email us and we'll, check out their, confirm they are who they are. And then we'll send it out. Deplorable Golden won the hoodie. And, man, I can't remember his name off the top of my head that won the hat. But we've given away, not the hoodie, I'm sorry, the beanie. And then we also had the stickers go to Queen of the World, something like that. So we've given away a few. It'll be, a lot of people loving the tumbler. If you guys are interested in it, we actually only just made this one, right?
Yeah.
Right, I mean, that's the only one.
Well, I made one for myself. Selfish. Selfish.
We post up a picture of it. If you guys are interested in that, we might be making more of those as well. And so, Robert, yes, Robert, he won the hat. I'm so sorry, I forgot.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's right. And they're custom tumblers, and they're really good work. The guy does really good work. I bought one off of the guy. He did a real good 49ers cup for my girlfriend, but
what?
Yeah. Whoa! We're gonna lose all the viewers. What are you doing?
49. Whoa.
49ers, yeah.
Oh man, sorry to break it to you guys in the chat. The blue was taken.
So, with that being said, guys, we're getting a little long in the tooth. Y'all guys got any final words?
No. What's it called? Just want to say thanks to the members, mods, everybody in the chat, and hopefully one of y'all wins it.
Yeah, it'll be.
Yeah, I'm an enter, so I might win.
You got to be a member, bro. Remember, you got to sign up to be a member. Big Blue, you got any final words before we let everybody go?
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being on here and tonight. My thoughts and prayers go out to the shooting victims that happened this afternoon. It was a tragic, school shooting again today, which it wasn't even another fellow student, which is a crazy story. It was a 20-year-old female.
28,
20-year-old female that got into the school and caused this havoc to this community. So our thoughts and prayers go out to y'all tonight.
Sure. Absolutely. It's horrific and it shouldn't happen anymore. It's insane. Thank you, Opinionated. We'll see you Friday. Guys, we're going to put a bow on it. Like the country song says, we tell you quit drinking. We don't want you listening to drunks. Don't forget, tomorrow morning, we have a video coming out. It's Bryan Kohberger wasn't suspect number one in the beginning. Check it out. See y'all there.